24. As you can see from the weather here, I think we're coming out in sympathy with Paris and its opening ceremony. It's been pretty damp this morning. It's just dried up a little bit now. That'll clear during the day. More on the weather in a moment. So 51 yachts, ranging from the largest at 72 foot, Antipodes, Jeffrey Hill's Antipodes, and URM, Maxi 72, all the way down to the smallest in around Currong and even Catwincher and so forth. 13 two-handers is an increasingly popular way to go, of which 4 are J99s, possibly one of the designs that are being heavily favoured there, but we've also got Sunfish 3300s and so forth as well, JPKs. So that's a growing area, even if they're more than two-handed. Those smaller yachts, they're coming up big time. We've only got 3 TP52s this time around. That's a little unusual, but a good mixed fleet across the 51 other boats. So to the weather, and a very interesting forecast, and it's going to be challenging for both light airs and heavy airs, particularly at both ends of the race. So we've got a low system coming up the coast. It's intensifying as it comes, but what it tends to do is to drag in a northerly first before it hits. So that's what we're going to be getting at the start, probably pretty light northerlies, maybe under 10 knots, 8 or less. And that's going to persist most of the way through the evening, but gradually going round to the west, northwest, and then to the westerlies, and that's going to build probably in the early hours of tomorrow morning, again just constantly backing round towards the south, and then by later tomorrow it's going to be pretty full bore, big southwesterlies, and also increasing seas, building up to 3 metres or more during the day. That's going to produce some interesting opportunities for both the faster and the smaller boats, so it's a little difficult to know exactly where this race might end up. We had a long chat with Lockie Paramore, the navigator aboard URM yesterday, and he gave us some very interesting insights on how they would go about this race. So for them, they're going to be pretty much constantly in front of that big sou'wester as it's coming in. And when I say in front of it, they're not going to be getting the heaviest bit of it until a good deal later, and that might favour some of the smaller boats. He's described the race in 3 parts. The first section up to Port Stephens, which is mostly going to be fairly light for them. Then pretty full-bore straight-lining stuff from there, all the way up to the border. And if you've been watching any of the wind predictions for the last week, extraordinary how that southwesterly pitches the whole way up the coast, and then virtually as it crosses the border, the classic warm water weather starts affecting that, and as Lockie said, it gets a bit funky in that point. So that's going to be the biggest challenge for them then, is do they stay offshore and see if they can get some more of the breeze in southwesterly, but then risk having to plug maybe even a light sou'easter to get back into the coast. It's sort of all to play for. At the moment, their estimated ETA, I think we heard, was 6 p.m. tomorrow Sunday. Of course, that's all with the weather gods along the way. What about the rest of the fleet? It's going to get fast and frightening during the first 2 days, that particularly tomorrow and from tomorrow onwards. Off north of Coffs, it's probably going to be quite tricky with the seas. There's quite a bit of south-going current there. So there's a lot to play for, and probably some fair degree of nervousness about how this is going to play out. We are going to go around and talk to a few of the folk before they head off, and we'll be heading up the coast and to the Gold Coast later.